2017, guys, some questions are very easy, so we'll go fast. Okay, now question 36. Example of a pure public good. Can you all quickly give me an answer? Health service, national museum, national defense, rail, transport, education. Which one is a pure public good? Non-rival, non-excludable, both. The one that we always talk about in our youth. You have national defense, no national defense, street light, all of these are pure public goods. Then number 37. Here's they are giving a nice diagram. Given in this diagram are the marginal private benefit and social benefit curves and the market supply. Okay, by looking at this diagram, guys, can you all tell me which externality is this? There are two benefit curves. Has to be a consumption. Positive, the negative. Social benefit is higher than the private benefit. So this is a positive externality in positive externality in consumption. So we'll try to read. Okay. How are we going to figure out? They're asking free market price is too high, overproduction, free market output is too high, Okay. So where is the free market output? I'll label that in blue. Free market output lamai is when if it's central bank selling bonds to commercial banks and money supply. No, so central bank sells the bond this thing and now they are financing a deficit. No, so central bank is taking that loans and they are spending it on the economy. Commercial banks, the amount of loans they give will come down, but this is the 20 previous one. The amount of loans that commercial banks can give come down. Yes, that will decrease money supply. But on the other side, when central bank spends that money, that's expansionary kind of fiscal, the government expenditure, that can increase money. That's how that. Okay. Then, okay. So where is the free market equilibrium here, guys? Where private cost equals private benefit. This is where the market is actually at equilibrium. Actually, where they are at equilibrium at P1. So this is the equilibrium price, equilibrium quantity. What is the social optimal? I'll put that in green. Ideally, the social optimal level is where social cost equals social benefit. That is over here. So what is the market doing, Lamai? Now, social optimal quantity is this one. They are only consuming EQ. So the good is under consumed or over consumed. The good is they have to consume SQ, the social optimal quantity, but they are consuming only EQ. So the good is under consumed. What about the price, Lamai? What about the price? They have to charge P2, but they are charging only P1. Under consumed and the market equilibrium price is too high or too low? Equilibrium prices too low, no? They have to charge P2, right? That is the social optimal, the green line, but they are charging only the blue one, P1. So equilibrium prices too low. So with this case, you should get your answer. We'll see which one. Number one says free market price is too high. No, free market price is too low. There is overproduction. No overproduction. There is underconsumption. Underproduction, underconsumption, both should be okay. Free market output is too high. Is the free market output too high? No. Output is EQ, the blue one. It's less than the social optimal. Output is too low. There is underconsumption of the good of HJ. Correct. Yeah. HJ underconsumption. That distance is underconsumed. Correct. That can be our answer. Negative externality in consumption. No, this is a positive externality in consumption. Can you see, guys? It looks a little scary, but when you look at the diagram and when you analyze it, it's a very easy question to do. Say 2017, question 37. Probably I also would have got this right when doing A-levels. We'll go to 38. Now, government revenue to GDP and expense GDP ratio in Sri Lanka in recent years. So it will take 2021 and 2022. Okay. 2021, 2022, these are outdated. See, I remember I told you when I was doing A-levels, the numbers we studied, right? If I'm not mistaken, the number was, I can't remember the exact number. What is the past paper answer, guys? You see, if I remember what I studied, no, expenditure was not this high. Expenditure was around 17, if I'm not mistaken. It's 4 or 5 or 3 then. Part is 3. Only this. I don't know, right? So see, the budget deficit wasn't that big, guys. But now if you look at revenue and expenditure, now this is 2017, we don't have to know those numbers. Okay. Here's government revenue and expenditure. Indian government revenue, yeah. 21-22, total government revenue and grants, 8.3, 8.3, 20 and 18.5. Revenue has kind of remained the same, 8.3% of GDP, 8.3% of GDP. Here it has been 20% of GDP. Here it has been 18.5. So roughly Sri Lankan numbers are this. Past paper 3, no? Right. Here I've forgotten my numbers. Never mind. Fine. Step in Balam 2019 here. Better to know. 2019. It's 8.8 and 19.4. 8.8, 19.4. If I add 2019 also here, so 8.8% and 19.4. Okay, so having knowing for 3 years is okay. So you know a small range. So Sri Lanka's expenditure between around 18 to 20%. Revenue has been close to around 8 to 9%. If we are just to give an average range in the recent years, revenue between 8 to 9%, expenditure we can say between 18 to 20, something like a small range if they give you a question similar to this in your year. Then we'll go to 39. According to their relative importance, this also has changed. The main components of recurrent expenditure in the government can be ranked as. Which one is the biggest component? Now, recurrent expenditure, there are 3. Expenditure on goods and services. Under that, you have salaries and wages, interest payment, and transfers. Now, what is the biggest? From the 3, what is the biggest now? Now, the biggest is interest payments. Earlier, the biggest was expenditure on goods and services. When we were doing in 2017, expenditure on goods and services were bigger. So now the biggest one is right. Interest payments is the biggest. Okay. Interest payments are the biggest. Number 2 is expenditure on goods and services. Under this only, main part is salaries. Okay. And number 3, you have transfers to houses. This is the answer if they ask for 2021 or 2022. So 2021 or 2022, these have to be your answer. 21 or 20. Past paper maybe should have past paper says number 2. What does your 2017 salaries and wages, then interest payment? Yeah, but remember these are outdated now. Don't go and write that now. Okay, so this is again, I'll make a note saying outdated. They ask you the latest numbers, latest biggest components. It's this. Done. Then question number 40. The widely used credit instrument in domestic financing budget deficit of Sri Lanka in the recent years. Which one, guys? Whenever government wants money, what do they do? What's the most widely used? Treasury bonds are the ones that they raise the biggest money. However, this year in the start, now this is a little bit advanced at your level, government was doing a domestic debt restructure. We were doing a domestic debt restructure. We would have spoken about this a little in our fast track and stuff. Okay. We call it a DDR. Okay. So government was trying to restructure their domestic bonds mainly. So as a result, in the start of this year, government wasn't issuing bonds. From somewhere around February, March to somewhere around in August, that period, they didn't issue treasury bonds. So even the money that they had to raise from treasury bonds in 2023, okay, between somewhere around March to August, even all of this money they were raising through treasury bills. That's what they were doing. Yes, how often does the central bank raise money through treasury bills? How often? So treasury bills, there are 91 days, there are 182 days, 364 days treasury bills. How often do they raise? Every month, every 2 months, whenever they want. Okay. Treasury bills, guys, are raised every single week. Every week there's a treasury bill. So if I'm just to show you the numbers, I also track this a little. You go to the central bank website, you go to this one, you can go to press government securities. Okay, yeah. Treasury bill auction held on 11th. Today is 11th. Today is the 12th. So there has been a treasury bill auction every week, guys. Yep. Treasury bill auction 11th October. This is the latest one. So you click on this, you can see here. Treasury before that, treasury bill auction held on 4th October. That is last week, exactly 1 week before. Then treasury bill auction held 26th September. See, every week they raise treasury bill. So if you want to look at what happened in yesterday's treasury bill auction, these are primary auctions, right? Yep. This is 91-day treasury bills. The commercial bank, central bank has offered 45,000. This is 45,000 million, all in millions. They offered 41,000. Remember, I told you guys we learned this in unit number 7. Central bank will issue treasury bills. The primary dealers have to bid. Remember that. Primary dealers say, okay, I want this much at this percent interest. I want this much at this percent interest. I want this much at this percent interest. So primary dealers will bid. See, they offered only 45,000, but there were bids worth 113,000. So everyone bids. BOC bids, some bank bids, this bank bids, that bank bids, right? The other primary dealers bid. They bid. So there were 113,000 worth of bids. So people were willing to buy 113,000. This is the 91-day treasury bill yesterday. So amount accepted. So they asked for only 45, but people bidded 113. So therefore they accepted more than what they offered also. So central bank said, okay, fine. Some people I will cut off, but I will accept 66,000 worth of this. The 1 year treasury bill, they didn't accept a lot. See, the 1 year treasury bill, they offered 20,000. Bids received were for 22,000. They accepted only 2,000, guys. These are very interesting inside stories. Why do you think? You know the reason? Because interest rates are going down, Nelamai. So government doesn't want to lock their treasury bills at high interest rate. Now, if the government accepts a 364 treasury bill, that means for 1 year they have to pay that high interest. Right now, interest rates are high, it's going down. So that's why they accepted more 91 days. That means now in 3 months they will get that, they have to pay that back, and in 3 months they can issue it at a lower interest. Here, the interest rate is 16%. So they feel like, okay, in 3 months I can issue it at a lower interest. I don't want to lock my entire thing at 13%. So the average yield for a 364 bond was 364 treasury bill was 13%. That means if I issue a bill today, I have to give a 13% return by the end of 1 year. So rather than that, right now I will issue only a 3-month bill at 16%, hoping that in 3 months I can issue it at an even lower rate. So it's all finance playing in here and there. Very interesting stories. Now even this amount offered 45,000 and people are bidding 113,000 means there is a huge demand. There is a lot of liquidity in the banking system. If the banking system doesn't have money with them, they can't bid. Now they are bidding. Now see, all the things, all the bids are more than what they are offered. No, central bank offered 45, 25, and 20. They totally offered only 90,000 million of treasury bills yesterday. Okay, this is 11th of October. But bids received were 116,000. So what does that mean, guys? That means commercial banks have a lot of money with them. They are willing to buy the treasury bill. So rather than even, let's say, giving loans to customers, they are willing to buy the treasury bill, because treasury bills are giving, come on here, 13%, 14%, 16%. They're giving very high interest. At one point, now this is okay. Last year during the crisis, the treasury bill rate was at around 30%. But here it's 16, 14.96 and 13.1. So at 30% now, commercial banks were jumping up and buying treasury bills, guys. 30% return means so much of money. It was going at around 31, 32. Now it's coming down a little. That's how it is. So every week, central bank issues, guys, treasury. So all the data, again, it's there in the central bank website. Central bank website itself is a very interesting website, guys. If you really go into it, it has everything. Most of you all know only the central bank report. Most teachers also know only the central bank report. They know our central bank website and central bank report. But from daily indicators to weekly indicators, there's so much of stuff, right? That's the whole thing I enjoy about my job also, and that's why I don't want to get into teaching full time. It's very interesting. If you are also into econ someday, and if you keep track of everything what's happening, you can relate to a lot of different stuff. Okay, which one then? Done for 2017. How did you all do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Now this is outdated, no? 4 out of 4. 38 is a little outdated. Outdated. Okay, nice. Right, 2017 is done. So we quickly do 2018 and then we'll call it a day for today, and we'll do the rest tomorrow.